Okay, it's we're started now. You can do the gong. Do the gong. Do the gong.
Yay! Hi everyone.
Hi everyone. This is the first episode of the Colette and Eva Show, or on Colette's channel, be the Eva and Colette Show. And this is a collaborative channel sort of thing that we thought, well, we actually have a lot of fun. So if nobody's watching this, then whatever, we're still having fun. But if you are watching this and you are nobody, then that's amazing.
I'm excited. This is going to be fun.
Yes, I also am very excited. Okay, so basically we're just going to talk about stuff.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we have some topics that have come to us from the magical topic land. And our first topic is simply, let's talk about surgeries. So did you want to spearhead this one, Colette? I think that you've had some like facial feminization surgery done, right?
Yeah, I've been stitched and plucked because I'm a turkey. No, I've had facial feminization surgery by the renowned Dr. Osterhout, who pioneered the surgery. And so I had the works, is what they call it. So I've had like scalp advancement, which I still can't feel the top of my head all the way. And oh God, he got rid of my brow. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And it actually wasn't that painful, shockingly, because I was really drugged up, but it cost a ton of money. That's the one thing I've noticed, like in transition, just the overwhelming cost of everything is just, I mean, yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, totally. I think actually that Dr. Osterhout, like when I was still in my like closet trans phase of like everything I would do is like in my spare time, I would be online at like 5 in the morning, like Googling for different surgeries and stuff. I don't know. Did you have a phase like that?
Oh God, constantly. Like I was on TS Roadmap website. I was on, I think it's called like Laura's Playground or something. I was on there. A lot of just, yeah, constantly reading about every facial feminization story, looking at the horror stories. I mean, yeah, totally binging.
But no, I mean, like Dr. Osterhout is like one of the ones I read about, and people were like, this guy is like the shit. So I'm like super excited to kind of learn a little bit from you about that, maybe.
Yeah, Dr. Osterhout, what's amazing about him, he's semi-retired now because I think he's like in his late 70s, but he was actually a dentist first and foremost. That's what he was known for. And then he started doing craniology, is it like maxocraniology surgery or something with the bones in the face? Because I think in the 70s, like seatbelts weren't legal yet. So people would fly through windshields, have their face bashed in, and he would basically rebuild them. And that was what he did. And then in the 80s, he had his first trans woman come in and she's like, I want you to make me look less like a man. And he says, what the hell? Like he didn't know what that really meant. Like everyone, like what's female, what's male, whatever. So there in California, there's this warehouse up in Northern California that has like a big storage of human skulls randomly for like a medical study. So he went there and studied the male and female skulls, and he came up with a textbook. He saw like just how measurements with the face and how we through our mind perceive femininity and what's female, what's male through just people's face and the measurements. So he created facial feminization surgery. And going through him, like I had a consult with another doctor, but he was, I swear to God, the most personable, knowledgeable. Like he held me in close and showed me my x-rays and showed me exactly what he was going to do measurement for measurement. I mean, and I couldn't be pleased with the I couldn't be more pleased with the outcome because I've known a lot of people who've gone to them and the results I think have been amazing. And I have to say, after I had my surgery, like I never get stirred. Even if I don't wear makeup, I look like hell and I go to the grocery store. I don't really have an issue anymore. So I have to like say thank you, Dr. O, wherever you are. I love him.
I hope he doesn't die before I like get enough money to pay for surgery. It makes me so sad.
Well, He's semi-retired now. Like, I wasn't planning to have my surgery till much later, but he was going to retire, and I'm like, this is my chance. Like, I have to figure out how to have surgery with him. Like, because the cost is like the price of a luxury sedan. It's really freaking expensive. And he has someone taking over his business now. I guess he does it part-time. So I do want to see his new surgeon, because I do want to get like a revision on my forehead. So I think like I would be comfortable. If Dr. O thinks of him highly, then I think of him highly.
Okay, well, how about I just wait for you to get that revision, and then if you don't look like a train wreck afterwards, then I will then I'll get my surgery there. How about that? Is it a good deal?
That sounds like a deal.
Yay! Yeah. Am I very honest?
I think that I always got like shit from other trans girls because they would say like, why wouldn't you have SRS first? And in my opinion, it's like, I'm not going to walk around without pants on to be like, look, I'm female. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to like walk into a room and be perceived as female. So that's kind of why I think facial feminization is kind of a hot topic in the trans community. Like, some girls want it. Some girls think that it's bad that we're assimilating. It's just really interesting kind of why, I don't know. I don't think it's cosmetic, but I think it's, for me, it's been very healing in a lot of ways. Because I look at myself in the mirror, I feel so much better, you know? Like, it's just, it's...
Yeah, you look absolutely amazing. You do.
Oh, thanks. I'm happy.
I would never, like, I would never be, like, when I look at most trans women, unless they like started hormones when they're like, I don't know, unless they start hormones when they're like super, super young. Like, as I met like a Filipino trans woman here, and she just looks so good. Like she started when she was 14. She has wide hips. I'm just like, oh, I'm so fucking jealous. Like, but like, unless it's like that, like, there's always like something I can tell by looking at the face. But like with you, there's nothing. Like, you're just perfect that way. So I really like it.
Yeah, when I went and saw Dr. O, he's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, oh, that's not feminine enough. And he's like, no, like, you need to move it like a few centimeters. I'm like, all right, whatever you need to do.
Wow. I mean, yeah. I really want to do something about my face when I can, but we'll see. Yeah. But I mean, on the other hand, like, think about like the sex side of it. I mean, we're going to talk about sex probably in the second half of this, but like, think about that aspect of it. That's a huge motivator to get SRS, because I think maybe people watch like ladyboy porn and stuff, and they just assume that like we're having crazy anal sex all the time, and like, no, like, you can't do that more than like a couple times a week maximum. It's hard on your body.
Yeah, and sometimes you want to eat Mexican food, okay? And when you do that, you can't eat. No, I agree. Like, SRS is something, well, I'm planning to have mine in December, and I'm really looking forward to it, because for me, it's also like you're able to like wear like swimsuits, and you can kind of wear a dress without having to tuck. And I mean, tucking is just not comfortable. I don't want to do it. But I also don't want to walk around and people are like, what the hell is hanging behind that chick's legs? Like, I want to be able to wear what I want to wear. And then sex, I think sex is going to be awesome with it, hopefully.
Everything that I've seen has said it would be. But anyway, let's move on to the next topic. Okay. Which is all right. So I can share something. This is a let's see, share screen, and this one. Yes. Okay. Can you see my screen?
I see blackness.
Okay. Present to everyone.
Oh, no, oh, that's okay. So awesome.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is okay, this is actually this is just a random image that I found on Google, but it kind of shows the point of this topic. And here's this poem that, like, okay, so these games, there's this thing called Kickstarter, which like people just like big companies decide that they like or no, people decide that they want money for projects. In some cases, big companies like game companies use it to like get extra money for their projects. And one of the ways that they do for people who give certain amounts of money is they let them like put things into the game. So in this particular case, they're putting, they put somebody who gave, I don't know, however much money, $1,000, $5,000, whatever, put this poem into the game, and it's this one. So here lies Byerdorn, a hero in bed. He once was alive, but now he's dead. The last woman he bedded turned out a man, and crying in shame, off a cliff he ran. And I don't really know, this is like a poem kind of like about swords and elves and shit. So I mean, this game is about swords and elves and shit. I don't really like to play that kind of game or the setting, but I just don't think it necessarily really belongs in a game. Yeah. But anyway, in any case, regardless of what you think about it, there's like two sort of sides. Well, no, there's actually three sides. The bulk of people just don't give a fuck about this. There's the people who get like really offended by this and think it's like transphobic, homophobic, misogynistic, whatever buzzwords you want to use. And then there's the people who, who are like, you know, as you can see on this side in the white that somebody's added here, like, Dear Obsidian, please don't change the Fyredorn Lightbringer Memorial in Pillars of Eternity. So like people are just like, they're thinking that it's crazy censorship because this trans woman played the game and then she complained and then they took it out of the game. So basically, do you think that should have been taken off out of the game, or do you think that it should stay in the game, or what do you think?
Well, I'm not a fan of censorship, and I think everyone has their own interpretation of, I don't know, I just kind of think the poem's dumb, so I'm just like, God, why would you even put that up there? But second of all, I mean, when you read the last two lines, it's pretty awful. I'm just like, because when you read it, you're like, okay, well, the guy turned out to be a dude, so he's going to kill himself because he's upset. I guess like those sorts of things, like I can understand where people are coming from when they get really offended and they feel like it's like inappropriate. And then for me, I guess I take a stance more on an art form where it's not something that necessarily, I don't know, it's just kind of weird because I don't want to have to censor people because everyone has their own way they want to express themselves. The only thing I could really say that I would do is I would just ask the person who wrote that to write a better poem because it's not that good.
Well, no, it's a bad poem. I mean, but like, okay, my kind of opinion on it is that if you keep that in there, there's going to be a lot of people that are offended. But if you take it out, there's not many people who like, you would think there's not that many people who would be like, I really, really need to see this poem about a guy killing himself because he's such a great boy. Like, what?
Well, I think, yeah, if they took it out, like, will it hurt the game? Will it bother the game? I guess I can understand where people are being like, oh, it's the censor, blah, blah, blah. I understand that. And I kind of see, like, not wanting to take it out. But also, if it's not going to bother the game, I mean, write another poem and put it in place of it. You know, I get kind of nervous about always making everything PC. Like, I know, like, we should, but then sometimes I'm like, I feel like we take everything so seriously. But I understand why. I'm probably not answering this properly because I'm a Libra, damn it. We have to look at every side of everything and have a balanced idea of what we think.
One of those people, you're like, I'm a Libra. I can't answer that. It's just don't.
I can't. Like, seriously, I'm seriously like, I always have to process things for a while. But if I was the person that put that on there, if I was trying to be funny and I realized that this upset a trans person, if I wasn't trans, let's say, I would take it off just because I'm like, you know, one person's upset, but it might turn into like multiple people. And yeah, that's not really cool. I'll put something else up. But if they took it down, then I think that that's great because maybe it is better. Like you mentioned, more people will be offended if it's up than if they take it down. So in that case, I'd probably go with that. You know, just take it down, put something else up. You know.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much my opinion of it, and but I don't think it's a huge political issue. Like whatever, somebody has a stupid poem in a game. I don't think it's really worth anyone's time one way or the other. But like, there's this kind of theory that like in this sort of issue or this debate, there's two sides. There's sort of two sides. There's like these what they call social justice warriors on one side, And on the other side, they have they have anti-social justice warriors or whatever. I think they're called like Gamergate or something. And they're kind of fighting against each other. But the thing is that a lot of people, like, they make YouTube channels and stuff, and they make a lot of money from it because they make some video where they pretend to be outraged, and then like the people that are like the so-called true believers, like they come in and they are the ones who click the links. They are the ones who will fund those, whatever, like those stupid websites where you go and like you get money for making on your YouTube channel or whatever. Anyway, they just fund stupid shit and throw money at it. So like there is one school of thought that says like nobody really gives a fuck about this shit, at least not the people who are vocal about it. They just want to make money from it.
I see that. I see what you mean. Yeah, now I kind of like your stance on it. You take a more like diplomatic approach to it. It's not something that needs to be like this huge outrage, but you know, I see what you mean. Yeah. No, I kind of agree with that. I agree, damn it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so the next topic we can talk about is boys. Let's talk about boys.
Boys, yay! We need a song for that. That doesn't work, but whatever. So, what do you like about boys?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've only ever had, I mean, I think you would probably know more because I've only ever had one man in my life. So it's kind of, yeah.
Are you saying I'm a slut? Is that what you're saying, Eva? I'm kidding.
I was a slut in different ways, but not with boys. Yeah.
No, boys are fun. Like, it's so funny because like when I started on hormones, my boyfriend was like, "Oh, you're gonna become a lesbian." I think we talked about that before. Like, people seem to think like that's gonna happen, and I swear to God, like, I don't know if it's because of the hormones. Like, you go through your second puberty, but it's totally made me boy crazy, and switching to injectable hormones even more so. But my taste in men has changed dramatically. Like, from what I used to like before, previous transition to what I like now. What I find attractive is so interesting. Like, it is true, like if you come home and your boyfriend's cleaned your whole house and like makes you dinner, I hate to say it, but you want to like go have sex with them after that. You're like, oh my God, it's so weird with like what gets you. I even told my boyfriend that. I'm like, if guys really want like their girlfriends to like give them head more often, like fucking vacuum the house and like go do the grocery shopping. And he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yes. Like, I think women are just wired differently. It's like, you totally did that. Okay, let's go do what you want to do.
Yeah. Anyway. No, the other day I went out to some conference thing, and then like when I came back, my boyfriend had like dinner made for us, and he had like a hot cocoa for me when I opened the door, and it was like, yeah, basically, yeah, just have your way with me any way you want. It's amazing.
Oh, you're like just taking your clothes off. Okay. But yeah, no, boys are fun. Like, I just, it's just interesting what I find attractive. Usually if a man's very talented, it bodes very well for me. Like, if they can sing, they're ambitious, they kind of got like a cockiness to them. I noticed I find that really attractive. Like, previously I thought it was horrible and annoying. Not talent, but just being cocky.
Well, I mean, okay, so this is kind of my problem, is that like, what's your like style of boy? Did that change at all that you found attractive?
Oh God, yeah. What I liked before was kind of like pretty boys, and I always like kind of went for like Latin men. And then when hormones happened, I've actually found white men intriguing, because before it was like only ethnic men I'd ever been with. Like, yeah, it was like Hispanic, Black, Asian, Thai, all sorts of different men. And then after hormones, I'm like, oh, white men are kind of cute. So I don't know why that happened, and I seem to really like manly men. Like, like lumberjacks, firemen, those types of guys, very masculine, find very attractive. Before it used to terrify me. Now I love it. Like if a guy says I can build a boat, then I'm completely ripping my clothes off. Like it's just, it excites me.
I don't know. For me, I think.
Did your taste change? Did your taste change when you started hormones?
I mean, it just changed in the fact.
Women.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It changed in the fact that I'm actually attracted to men now. But as far as being attracted to men, actually, for me, it's not really a physical thing. Like, it's just if a guy is like particularly nice looking or whatever, that's one thing. But a guy has to be really nice to me. And actually, right now, I'm like madly in love. So right now, and hopefully forever, I'm just attracted to my boyfriend. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, physically, I like both. But yeah, no, physically, it has. There's certain things physically I really like in men. I like mustaches, like really heavy, thick mustaches. I love like.
That's great.
I do. I totally love it. It's just hot to me. I love picking out cologne for men. I like my men to smell like tobacco and leather. Yeah. And I'm putting my hair in pigtails. Wow. Let me stop this. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, boys. I should say let's talk about men, because saying let's talk about boys kind of creeps me out. But anyway.
Yeah. We're kind of old now. Anyway. just old. We can't use those words anymore.
No, we can't.
All right, yeah. So I think this is you, and this is new experiences for me as a trans lady. Men opening doors for me, offering to help me carry items to my car, and flirting. I tend to forget that I am now presenting and out as a female. Does that feeling of going to get caught ever go away?
Does it, Eva? Does it?
Does it? I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like I'm gonna get caught. I just feel like people are like looking at me sometimes like all judgmentally and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I've been really happy lately. I haven't felt as self-conscious, like, but yeah, no, at first, like when like I went and got pizza for my boyfriend and I, and there was like this young high school guy who was ringing me up at the register, and he was looking at me rather oddly, and it was in a kind of in a suggestive way or something, and I thought, whatever. And he's like, do you want help out to your car? I'm like, oh no, I'm fine, I got it. But he kept being really insistent, and it was kind of like, oh, duh, you know what I mean? Because I still kept thinking I was being the other life or whatever, and it was really sweet. I of course didn't let him help me because I was like, because I kept thinking that, how does he like, wait, is he looking at me as a man or whatever? It was really weird until I got to my car and I realized when I slung my purse into the car seat, I'm like, oh, I'm Colette now. It was so cool. Like I got like this huge rush of like, oh my God, that was awesome. And then like the other day I went and got a sandwich at work, and the owner of the cafe was like hitting on me, and it was really like the girl ringing me up, like he was saying, yeah, I have an eye for talent, because he just hired the cashier. He says, and I have an eye for beauty, and he winked at me, and then he kept saying, you should come tonight to our slam poetry thing. And I'm like, hold up, you know. And then a part of me was like, am I gonna get
what type of bullshit is that? Is that working? Poetry?
The woman ringing me up, she totally gave me this look of like, oh my God, like it was just so creepy how he said it. And I thought it was really flattering, but at the same time, like, what if he really knew like my secret or something? But he seemed to be cool. But I still think like, God, if he knew my past, like what if someone came up behind me from work and said my old name and my own gender pronoun or something, and be like, oh no. I don't like that feeling. That's one thing I don't like, is when you feel really happy and excited, you get to be out in the world, but then there's always that reminder that you're different. That's something that does bother me, because I'm like, I don't want to remember.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's not about like hiding. It's just not about like wanting to wear like the Jew star or whatever. Like I want to just be a person, you know.
I agree. Some trans star. I'm trans.
Yeah, we should have special trans stars that you wear.
Uh-huh. Too funny.
The trans buttons. Yeah.
Trans buttons.
But like, okay, so like, what have you noticed? Like, I actually still don't really pass, so I maybe can't say anything about that. But I mean, what do you notice about how people treat you differently?
Well, it is really interesting. Like, I'll go to the grocery store, for instance, and I'll be picking up some ground chicken for my cats, and there's usually like really attractive guys that work at the meat counter. I don't know why, but there are. And the guys, like, there'll be some lady standing next to me who's probably like 20 years older than me or older or whatever. And she's next in line, and they'll totally overlook her and ask if I need help. And I always look over at the lady and I'm like, she was here first. And they're like, oh, sorry. And I could tell the woman look at me like angrily, you know, but then I was like putting that in my mind. I'm like, well, that's cool, but I'm totally going to be that bitch in like 20 years. You know what I mean? Like being overlooked. And when my boyfriend and I ever have to go do anything like with the bank or with like any sort of paperwork, they always talk to him. They don't talk to me. Like I'm kind of like the woman that doesn't know anything or something. It's really interesting. Like just how like when my boyfriend walks in, it's like he gets the respect, and as I'm sitting there, I have to kind of earn it. And I've noticed that men just talk over me all the time, and I have to like fight my way to like get a point in. It's so different because before everyone would turn around and be like, what's your opinion? And now it's like I have to fight to give my opinion, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be one of the things I've actually noticed is that like when I'm trying to talk, then I get a lot of I get a lot of people like just speaking over me, and I have to really kind of jump in there. It's kind of like being 5 again, I guess. That's how I would explain it.
No, you're right. You're right, because it is really strange. Because then I went to this forum for my insurance where they wanted to have trans people come in and talk about like their experiences with doctors, and there was F to M's and M to F's. And the F to M's, the guys, the trans guys, took over the meeting. They were talking loud. They controlled the whole thing. And the moderator had to be like, okay, girls, what do you guys think? And it's like, they would just jump right back. And I'm like, this is so hilarious. Like, we're totally in our roles now. That's just, I was kind of blown away by that.
I've never actually met an FTM before, like a female to male. It's like something that really interests me. I want to meet somebody like because I don't know what that's all about. Like I only know our way.
Oh yeah, it's really fascinating. I have a lot of F to M friends. My boyfriend's F to M, and it is really interesting. It's a lot of similarity. Yeah, he's F to M. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you can think
really?
He met. I have no clue. Yeah, I know. He looks like a lumberjack. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well,
yeah.
we're gonna have to talk a little bit about, a little more about that in the sex topic in the next half of the show.
No, I'm kidding.
It's not too personal.
Sex. Okay.
I mean, it's interesting to me. Wow, I didn't even know that. Wow, that's intense.
Yeah. My trans boyfriend. I should have played that right when you realized, wait, your boyfriend's trans?
Wow. Okay. Wow. That changes everything. That's amazing. I had no idea. Okay. Wow. Wow. I almost don't want to do the other topics because I really want to find out about this. But anyway, okay.
You have to stay tuned, people.
So the last topic of this half, at least the last formal topic of this half, there might be something else that we want to talk about, but it is men and size. Interpret as you will.
Ooh. Men and this is your topic, Eva.
Okay, it is. And okay, so basically a few years ago, I was just talking with a girlfriend, and this is like when I had just come out as transsexual, but I hadn't even begun anything with transition yet, so I was still like with a beard, like kicked back, drinking a beer kind of thing, you know. And I was just like, I just was talking to my girlfriend. I was like, so well, female friend, not girlfriend. I was like, okay, so like it's such a myth that women care about like how tall guys are. And she's like, no, it's not. And I was like, what do you mean? Isn't that like a myth? Why does it matter that guys are tall or short or whatever? And she's like, well, because I want to feel small.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? That's dumb. That doesn't make sense. And then like I got on hormones a few months later, and then like was on hormones for like half a year, and then I totally got that. I was like, oh, I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it matters to you too, right? Like it totally matters if a guy is like tall or short or whatever.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Like, I like the fantasy of a guy being like bigger and stuff and taller, and being able to kind of like embrace me. But I always find myself attracted to shorter guys. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me because I think I'm more of a dominant type of personality. So it ends up working out that I be taller, but I don't. Yeah, I understand that because when I see like really tall, handsome men, you totally be like, oh, I'll be your little lady. You know, yeah. It's not, I guess, not important if I'm attracted to someone. So I find short guys just as appealing.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I also, I mean, so the other size thing is the size of the other thing. I don't actually have experience in that, but you do. So can you tell me if that matters or not?
I just would be like, you have experience, you slut. No, I'm kidding. Well, okay. It does matter in a certain regard. It matters if, okay, I've been with guys that have been smaller, and if they are confident in their skills and what they're doing, it's honestly probably the best sex I've ever had. Like, two of the guys were not large by any standards, but they knew what they were doing. So it was totally fine. And I've been with like bigger guys where it was like so painful that it was not enjoyable. And a lot of them are really clumsy because I think they think, oh, I've got this big dick, so I really don't have to do much. But it's like, no, you still got to work it. Like, there's still things that you got to do. So I think in some regards it can matter, but I think if you're really good at having sex and knowing how to kind of approach it and really work with what you have, then it can be an awesome experience. I have been with some guys that were really small, and I feel like such a slut saying this, but I didn't even feel anything, and that's when I'm like, oh my god, have I crossed that threshold? Am I that loose? You know what I mean? So I end up like really worrying about my standards. But then I was with guys that were probably similar size, and it was like, throw me out of the water, like amazing. So I think it was just the guy was not that good. So
I mean, I don't know. I have another friend, and she actually mentioned to me, she was like, yeah, with some guys you just don't feel anything and you have to pretend, and that's the worst. And I was like, oh,
yeah, it was amazing. And you're like, are you done? I didn't realize it because I was just like laying there like looking at my nails or something, and he's like, you're not enjoying this, are you? You're like, oh my god, you're doing something. You're like, yes, yay. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Okay.
I feel awful admitting that. I really do. Like, I just felt really bad.
Right. Well, I think we can maybe talk about something for a few minutes, and then we can start the second half of the show.
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I mean, what's new with you? Actually, you got a job, right? A new job?
I got a new job. I'm starting hopefully at the beginning of June. I'm thrilled. I'm beyond thrilled because I actually got a tarot card reading done recently, and the lady was so spot on.
You believe in tarot cards?
Yeah, well, I think they're fun. I think if someone's really talented, you can get a lot of good, really good information. But she did a little tarot card reading on me, and she said, oh, enjoy the new job, by the way. I'm like, how does this bitch know I have a new job? So I listened to her card reading and everything, and it was really spot on. And because I was kind of torn, and do I stay in this position? Because I know this position. I know everyone I work with. I mean, they helped me come out at work. I mean, it's been a really amazing experience. but at the end of the day, the work that I do is not stimulating. So she says, you're making a positive decision if you, hi honey, if you take the position. So I accepted it. So I felt really pleased that I did that.
Okay, so the tarot cards were your push. I'm going to do that when I have hard life decisions. I'm just going to be like, I'm leaving it up to the tarot cards.
Yeah, you should. I just wanted to do it for a lark, and it was like $20. That wasn't like breaking the bank. Right, honey? He doesn't care. Here, go down there. Yeah, but I'm excited because it'll be a fresh start. These people will only know me as Colette, and it's going to be really challenging work. I'm going to be very busy, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good skill for me to learn at this position that I can take with me anywhere I go. So it'll be really cool. Yeah. How about you? Because I know you're doing a lot of meetups now. You're going to like a lot of different groups and stuff like that.
Well, no, most of my meetups are just like software professional related, so they're not like super interesting. I mean, they're interesting to me, but they're not interesting to talk to other people, because like I'll start saying like, yeah, to like, what did I learn? I learned about like MongoDB. We had a meetup for that. We had another one for like file system abstraction. And like I try and talk to people who aren't developers or programmers about this, and they're just like, that's fucking boring. I don't want to hear about it. But for me, it's interesting, and I'm around like programmery people, and they're kind of they're actually much nicer than I expected that they would be. But yeah, I don't know.
That's good that you're getting out though, and you're in a new country, so it's good that you're kind of networking. That's a good thing, right?
I'm a little bit, but I read this thing about like the different types of cultures. Like I read this article and it talks about like the peach culture and the coconut culture. Have you ever heard about this?
No.
Okay, so like, okay, so they have the coconut culture and the peach culture. The coconut culture is the outside is like really hard, and like if it lands on your head, it kills you. And but once you break in, the inside is like soft and milky, like you get the nice stuff. And the peach culture is like everything's like soft on the outside, but in the inside there's like a hard pit. So America is like a peach culture, because you guys are like superficially like, hello, how are you guys doing? Oh my god, and then like you just move on, and like you just have many superficial relationships, I guess.
Yeah.
And but like some European cultures, like Chinese culture, Russian culture, like it's coconut culture. People like don't smile at each other, they don't make small talk so much. But like once you do become friends with people, they're like your friends for life kind of thing.
Oh, I like that. I want to live in a coconut culture.
You want to live in a coconut culture?
Well, I don't know. Like I'm really friendly and stuff like that, but it's. Well, I don't know. I don't know what kind of mix I am. I probably would be like a really mushy fruit, like with no center, because
you're just mushy. You can just be friendly like the whole way through.
Yeah, because I make friends with a lot of people, and I like I'm always pretty good about following up with people. Like if you pop into my head, I always try to make a note to like, contact you and be like, oh hey, like recently there was some guy that when I was a makeup artist who freelanced a few times, and he was really sweet, and I remember his energy. I couldn't remember his name though. And I had breakfast with a friend of mine this morning, and she says, oh, so and so, he's a contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race. And I was like, oh my god, is that? And I remember him, and it was really weird that I was thinking about him. I'm like, that's so awesome. Like, but yeah, I kind of, that is a very interesting concept, because I do think in America, like when I lived in LA especially, I mean, there's a lot of people that I did connect with, but I swear like a lot of people just, they're like, oh hey, let's hang out, and then you never hear from them again. So yeah, I can see that.
I don't know, I really hate the superficial relationships, but like I've like lived overseas in many like in Shanghai and Chongqing and Phnom Penh, and lived in Thailand for a little while, and you're always meeting people that are like traveling and stuff, so like the nature of meeting people is sort of transient, but I've always kind of preferred the coconut sort of thing, where you make really good friends. And that's why, like, when I lived in China, I basically didn't have any foreign friends. I just had Chinese friends because they weren't going anywhere.
Yeah, I like the coconut culture because I do like the I like creating a group of friends that it's like it's your family and you're connected with them for life, and you can always, I don't know, pick up the pieces of where you left off. Hi. What, honey? Sorry. My
Yeah,
cat's father.
I tend to like the deeper relationships more.
Mhm.
Okay, for example, though, like when I went to Denmark, I went to Copenhagen, and I saw a really old friend from Shanghai, and
Oh.
she's really nice. She's like from a very wealthy family in Shanghai, just kind of a rich Chinese girl living overseas. And I think we used to be friends, and I'm not sure now, we're still Facebook friends or whatever, but I think we're not friends anymore, basically. Because like I just went over and she was just a giant pain in the ass, like with everything. Just impossible to get along with. She was just, she wanted to like walk everywhere. And okay, like I have this step counter on my phone. Let me show you this thing. It's totally unreal. Okay. So like there's a step counter app on my phone, and when it got to like 15,000 steps, which is like, I don't know, a third of a marathon or something, I was like, yo, can we like maybe sit down for a little bit? And she just freaks out at me, like in the middle of the street. She's like, we only do what you want to do. What is this? And I was like, okay, what? Like, I've never like this is my record for steps here, and like you're telling me that like we only do what I want to do. Like if we only do what I want to do, we wouldn't be walking all over the fucking town, bitch. You know, like just like, okay. So look, like these are some average days that you can see, like, and then like this is my day with her. Like, can you see that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, like I did like 30,000 steps, and like the daily record, like the daily like crazy good one is like 10,000, and it's 31. And she's like, we only do what you want to do, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry, we'll do what you want to do, and we're just like walking downtown, right? And then there's like a place, and I know like Vietnamese coffee, so I go over to like the Vietnamese coffee place, and I'm like, or Vietnamese restaurant, and I go in and like I'm like, okay, can we get a couple of coffees? And she's just standing there, and it's like it smells of Vietnamese food because it's like a more or less crowded restaurant. And like as we're standing there, she's just like, oh, the smoke, I just can't stay in here. And then she just ran out, and she's like, oh, it's horrible. And I was like, okay, what? Like I just ordered coffee, and you just run out of the restaurant? You just refuse to stand there for like 5 minutes while they make coffee for us? Are you kidding? And then she was like, oh, and I was like, okay, what? I'm just gonna like follow you and just do whatever you want to do for the rest of the time. And then like I start talking to her like about friends and things like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, she was fucking insane. She like was talking to me about like how she doesn't have a boyfriend and she really wants one. And I was like, okay, well, you know, whatever. And we were talking about that kind of. And then she's like, okay, this is what I want. And I was like, okay, well, I'm listening. Tell me what you want. And she's like, okay, so I want a guy who will like live maybe across the street from me, and we want to see each other. We can like come out onto the balcony and wave at each other, and then we'll like make an appointment to see each other. But what was it? But like, yeah, we'll make an appointment to see each other. But we won't be late. We'll be there on time, and we'll stay and really enjoy our appointment time, and then we'll go off again. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I would probably be like, you know what I really want? And she'd be like, what? I'm like, you're fucking crazy. I'd be like, I'm gonna walk 30,000 steps to get away from you, okay? You're nuts. That's what I would say.
No, but this is the thing, okay? Like I like took a weekend off. I took a long weekend off. I bought plane tickets to Denmark. And then I had to have like spending money there, and like on the way back I was just thinking like, what the fuck, like I just wasted like, I don't know, like whatever, some big amount of money to like go have like the most shitty weekend of my life. Like it was horrible. Okay, like I couldn't get mobile internet working there because I was only there for 2 days. So she's like, oh, don't worry, you can just tether with my phone. And I was like, okay. So I like get back and I'm like, okay, I want to like message my boyfriend, right? And then she's like, then she's like, okay, are you done yet? And I literally, like, it was like 1 minute in. She's like, are you done yet? I was like, no, I just started like texting. She's like, okay, can you just not waste my time here? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just like, just give me 5 minutes. We said 5 minutes. I'm gonna take 5 minutes, okay? And then I'm like, okay. She's like, okay, whatever. And then like, okay, so I like write one more sentence, and then she like comes back. She's like, can you please hurry up? Like, I was like, Jesus Christ. And she's like, you're so inconsiderate. I was like, oh.
What is wrong with her?
I don't know. She's like, it was like seriously like living with Hitler or something.
You knew her in China, right?
Yeah, I knew her in China, and this is the thing though. Like, as a guy, I don't know why, but I liked her. Maybe it was because like, as a guy, I like secretly like had a crush on her or something. I have no idea, but like now, I definitely don't like her. Like, I just can't stand her now. So I don't know.
Oh, has she always been that way?
I think now that I think about it, I think that she has, but for whatever reason, I just overlooked it. But now I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, I never want to hang out with you again. Like,
please, I'm sorry. I could not do that with her. Oh my God. I swear my patience and tolerance has grown very thin for a lot of reasons. I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to go.
well, I mean, this is the thing though. Like, I flew up there, like, and it's like so expensive to get a hotel in Denmark. Like, what was I going to do? I kind of wanted to do that, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But there's also like the thing in the back of your head. Like, I've been friends with her for 10 years. Wow. And so like, you kind of want to preserve that friendship, right? But just like, as the weekend kept going, I just realized like more and more that she's just like totally fucking insane. And like, I feel bad for her. Like, I wish that, like, I was seriously at the end, like when we were at the airport, I knew like I didn't have anything left to like lose. So I was just like, have you ever thought that maybe you have Asperger's syndrome? And
sorry, that's hilarious.
And she was like, Asperger's syndrome? No, I don't. And maybe I'll look that up. I was like, okay, I'll send you some links when I get home, okay? And then so we're just sitting there, and we have like another couple of minutes to kill. So I'm like, oh, you know, like Thanksgiving is coming up, like American Thanksgiving. Like, maybe you could go with some American friends and you can do Thanksgiving dinner with them if you don't have any plans. It's really fun. And then she immediately says like, I know what I'm doing. You don't have to tell me what to do, okay? And I'm like, okay, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
I love it. That's what I totally would want to say. I think you have Asperger's. It kind of sounds like it, because she sounds a little off, like, or some sort of control issue. Well, she has major control issues. That is, God, I would get home and be like, I am never going there again. That's funny. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I got back and I was just like, fuck, my weekend. Like, I would have literally just rather like sat on the couch and just like watched TV all weekend, like, I don't know, or YouTube all weekend.
Instead of walking 30,000 steps.
Well, no, I mean, that's actually like healthy for you. If I was walking 30,000 steps with somebody who I liked, that would be okay. But yeah, I mean, we had some nice talks and things. That was kind of cool to like talk after we hadn't seen each other in like 4 years or something. But the negative definitely outweighed the positive, I'd say.
Did she have a lot of friends?
I get the feeling that she doesn't. I get the feeling that she knows a lot of people, but she doesn't have a lot of close friends. And now that I see how she acts, it's not really that surprising to me, because like, who the fuck would want to be close friends with her? She's absolutely insane.
She is literally insane. Like, you're a saint for even dealing with it all weekend long. Surprised you just didn't snap and yell at her. You're like, hold on, let me go smoke some weed, and then I can talk to you some more.
Oh, that's a good idea. Actually, I should totally do that for the second half, because I've been like a little bit like, I feel I need to take the edge off. So for second half, yeah, I'll probably just hit the bong in the intermission here.
Okay. You'll be all spacey.
I don't feel myself without weed, you know. I need, yeah. And it's legal. It's legal in Holland, which is the best. But yeah, also, the last thing I need to say on this section, last thing I need to say is, yeah, basically recently I realized that like hanging out with my boyfriend and his family and everything, I'm just like totally in love with them. And yeah, and yeah, it's just, it's really crazy. It's something that I never thought could happen to me, for someone like me. Like I just don't think that, I didn't think that like a trans woman could have true happiness. I thought like when I started transition, I thought I was like doomed to be like, I don't know, like a cam whore or something for the rest of my life, like the rest of my life until I'm 35, at which point I like overdose on crack cocaine that I bought with my cam money, you know, like.
You're like you're on the cam. I'm empty inside.
Yeah. So
no, that's awesome. See, he found a guy and he loves you and you love him. That's amazing.
it is amazing. And I don't know why he loves me. Like he says all sorts of reassuring things all the time, but it's difficult for it to kind of get into my head. I have so much internalized like hatred for myself that it's yeah, and that's really what it is. I think it's internalized hatred.
It'll take some while. It'll take a while because when I first got with my boyfriend the first few years, I was always like, why are you even with me? And now we've been together almost 7 years and I'm like, I know why you love me and I know why I love you. You know, you get really comfortable and you get confident in your relationship and then you just both know that you work well together. You know, it takes some time. I think the first couple of years you really care about this person so much, you're afraid you're going to lose them. And then you're like nervous that they're going to want.
Did you say first couple of years?
Yeah, first couple of years.
For like another 18 months? This is bullshit.
Well, it might depend on your relationship. For us, it's kind of like you just get to know each other. There's when we moved in together, there's that whole period of adjusting to each other's different emotional whims. And then on top of that, I started hormones. So that was a whole other thing we had to go through together. But yeah, now where I'm at in my life and where he's at in his life, we both like, it's like home. We're each other's home. So I think eventually you get to that mindset. You're like, you're my home now, you know? So then you feel comfortable in that. Yeah, I mean, you moved all the way to Holland to be with him, so he knows that you love him.
Well, that's good. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
He does.
Okay. Well, I think this is it. We need to take an intermission. I need to have some weed. You probably need to have a glass of red wine. And we'll have probably a second half that's much better. So definitely next show that the first, I get the second half because the second half is going to be better, I'm sure.
It's going to be tons of fun, right?
It is. But no, okay, so like I don't know if you can see it, but I can see like the number of viewers that have been watching this, and we've been fluctuating from like 1 to 4. And to that one who's, thank you so much for staying. Oh my god! But the rest, like, I probably shouldn't be, but like I just find myself getting distracted by it. So like I might put a piece of tape over it or something so it doesn't distract me. I'm
excited. People are tuning in.
I mean, some people, but like it just keeps going up and down. And, like, it's like distracting. So I don't know. Anyway, this is our first episode, so hopefully we'll get this better sorted out in the future.
We're having funsies. All right. So yeah, we'll take a little intermission and come back.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.